obviously with what just came out with Vince, nobody really, it's hard to give a man flowers after the stuff that he has been pulling, but, you have to recognize that him and Hogan were like the pair that really put it to the next level. And I mean, I'm not sure what pro wrestling would look like today if neither one of them did what they did.
That's true. You also got to give, like they carried it through what I guess you could call the slow years. Not
Right.
slow, but like those years. And then now, you say what you want about AEW. A lot of people have their own opinions on it, but I feel like we would not have as big of a wrestling comeback today if AEW did not exist, because that brought in competition and it almost forced other companies to change what they were doing, mix it up a bit, and then, you need that healthy competition, because when it becomes so monopolized where, at that point, and I'm not saying like maybe around like 2016, 2017, where TNA wasn't really, it was, so that competition was gone, and
Right.
the companies that are left kind of just fall into this rhythmic space. But then you see, right now we've got these different storylines happening. People are trying to come up with ways to compete with each other, and talent has more options these days. And now you see these big comebacks of these companies. TNA is coming back. NWA is coming back. And it really is like a great time to be in this business, a follower of the business, a fan of the business, anything regarding this industry. I feel like it's a great time for it right now because of that. And you gotta, like I said, say what you want, but I really feel like AEW did help start a lot of that big comeback.
Oh, I fully agree. I mean, Ring of Honor did a great job for a while, but they were the diehard fans company. And then AEW came around and they were like, okay, we have, if they're on TNT, they're on TBS, like that is massive. Like Sinclair Broadcasting it is what it is, and it is what it was, but they're not as big as TNT or TBS. So AEW being on those channels was like next level. And then they, the obviously great relationship they have with every company out there is just a good, it shows how great you can have good relationships with other companies so that your wrestlers can be put on national TV or seen by other people that had no idea what, even an Impact or TNA was, or a New Japan, or even, I can't even think of the Progress or, Rev Pro or anything like that. Some people don't know who those companies even are, and then now you have, AEW really helping put a spotlight on it. Hell, they even have a pay-per-view called Forbidden Door that's all about that, and it's one of the best ones of the year that people look forward to because of the fact that you get to see these guys and girls come into this company and work with people that are genuine dream matches that you never thought would ever happen. Like I know when TNA was really starting to get big, they had certain dream matches of people coming in from Ring of Honor into TNA, and they're like, whoa, I never thought I would see this kind of match before. And I love that. I mean, you nailed on the head there with AEW really showing healthy competition is good. Like it really helped. I mean, look what it did to NXT. They had to put them on a different different day. They redid the whole brand, which some people argue was not for the best, but they did what they did. And WWE really had to look again. It was like, oh crap, okay, so this company is doing this. How do we do something better as well? And like we've been seeing that they are trying to have better relationships with Japanese companies. Obviously, this past Saturday we saw Jordan Grace in the Women's Royal Rumble, which was absolutely amazing, coming in with the belt. And I'm very curious what they're going to do when it does, if they are going to try to do anything for WrestleMania or anything like that. But like you said, this is the best time if you're a wrestling fan, if you're a worker in the business, anything. Like I was telling somebody before, if I was growing up right now as a kid, I would never go outside because I would just constantly be watching wrestling. You have every you have access to more wrestling now than at any time in the entire history of the world.
Yeah, I agree. And even outside of television and cable, even the indies, the independent shows are stepping up their game. I mean, with the return of the territories too through NWA, like I know these Exodus Pro shows have been insane. We sold out this past weekend. The crowd was hot all the way through. And it's just exciting even going to shows that are on different levels, different scales. Like even some of the other shows I work up here in Cleveland, where we're doing them in I think the one we're doing this weekend is in a sportsplex, but we like turn it into like we put a ring in there and we have a show in there. Or no, it's at a community college, but same thing. That show's almost sold out. Like like they're filling up, and it's just exciting because, again, like you said, if we were a kid, like you could take your kids to these shows. They're family friendly, and even if you can't afford to go to like one of the big ones when they come through town, you have these other shows that are happening around you on a regular basis as well, and even those ones are exciting. Like they're stepping up their storytelling game and what these shows are doing. So it really is great all around, and it's really exciting to be involved with a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I was watching the GCW show from this past weekend the other day, and they were on commentary talking about how this was, I think, their third sellout, and then they have multiple sellouts coming up. And I mean, just for us here in the DFW area, we have them coming one weekend, and I think it's either the weekend before or the weekend after is Revolver that's coming through, and Revolver out of Ohio as well. Sammy Callahan's company is absolutely doing amazing and huge things. I mean, I think I think it was Friday they had their show with Mox and Gringo Loco, which was a fucking bloodbath, of course, and amazing. So I love what they're doing. Revolver's doing amazing things, and GCW is going to continue to do great things as well. I don't know. I'm so curious what that company's future looks like because of like how much bigger they really want to get. Do they want to stay where they're at? Because if you go to GCW show, I go to a lot of wrestling shows around here, and I don't see the fans at a GCW show that I see at any other show. And I think that's the most interesting thing to me because I'm like, how do you guys know about this? Like, do you watch wrestling outside of this? Do you not go to other wrestling shows? Like, how does this even work?
That's funny because I've noticed some of the same things about Exodus shows too. Is like some of them seem to be newer wrestling fans that are wanting to get out of the house on a Saturday night in January in Cleveland and go do something fun with their kids. And they're becoming wrestling fans, and they're creating these family moments. And there are some that I notice, at every single show, and there's even some fans that have been driving. We had a guy that drove 5 hours to come to this last Exodus show, so we are drawing like the hardcore fans, but we're also drawing in like these newer families and stuff that are just starting to get into wrestling, which is really cool because, you're seeing the dad, the mom, the kid, like they're all in it together. And some of them I'm not seeing at other shows in the area. So yeah, it is kind of like these shows are developing their own fan bases, which is awesome.
Oh, it's true too. Yeah, I mean, there's so many great local companies here in Texas as well that, people love going to those shows. And again, I don't see them at like some of the other bigger shows. And I'm like, it's always interesting to me. And taking a kid to a big AEW or WWE show is going to be next level because of the lights, the pyros, the massive crowd. But taking him to a smaller indie show is one of the best experiences you could probably ever have because it's like seeing one of your favorite bands at a small show. It's way more intimate. It's more interactive. You really you feel the energy coming off of everybody. And I think those shows, to me, are far better than the bigger shows.
Yeah, they are definitely able to get more personal too. And, you have chances to meet your favorite talent. You have chances to meet the wrestlers. Like, there's so many times that during intermission, like they always work in intermission into some of the shows up here, you know, we go out and the kids will line up to take pictures with us. You know, they get a chance to really mingle, meet us, talk to us. Or there's times that I'll even go out after the show, kind of come out by the ring and meet and talk with some of the kids after the show. Like if I had a later, you know, a match later on in the card, I'll just leave my gear on and go out and talk to them afterwards too. So that is definitely not an experience you get at one of the bigger shows. Like, you know, you don't get to sit ringside with them after a WWE show, where as at some of these indie shows, not even like, you know, a step up from indie too, where we are getting a chance to connect with the crowd better, talk to them and things like that. And that's one of the things that I really actually love. Like, I love the fans. I love getting to talk to them, getting to know them. I remember them. I remember their faces, and I'll see them at the next show, and I was like, hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Like, I get legit. Like, I pop myself. I'll pop over seeing some of these fans coming back because, like, they're awesome. You know, that's one of my favorite things about this.
That's even better for them because they're like, oh my God, they know who I am. It's so cool.
I'm just a people person, so I love, like, getting to meet and talk to people like that. And the cutest thing happened at one of the last shows. There was a little girl who made a sign that said, go Chelsea, go EC3. And she came up to me after the show and she gave it to me and was like, oh, I want you to have this. I made it for you. And I was like, this is the cutest freaking thing ever. Like, I still have that. I kept it. I still have that sign. You know, it's things like that I just love.
That's amazing. I love that so much because, yeah, the kids are into it way more than the fans are, or the parents are, because, you know, kids have not been jaded yet. And when you hit adulthood, somehow the jadedness comes in and you look at things a little differently. But, yeah, I love the kid that she made a sign and then wanted to give it to you.
I know. It really made me just be like, oh, my gosh. Because then it's moments like that you realize you are impacting these little lives more than you realize it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's moments like that you realize these kids are looking up to me. Like, I'm doing more than just wrestling out here. Now I'm becoming a figure to them. I'm becoming someone they look up to or someone of inspiration. So now it's like, now I got to keep doing that to give them something to keep looking up to. You know, like, I don't want to let these kids down at this point. So it's like, it's cool when that starts to happen too.
That's awesome. Now, how did you get involved with the NWA?
It circles back to being with Dr. Tom.
Okay.
And working in Knoxville. So when we were training down there, you know, we were working a lot of the shows in that area, learning just how to set up, take down rings, how shows were ran and things like that. Towards the end of our training, NWA was the first time in, like, who knows how long they came back to Knoxville. So, Dr. Tom was there, you know, got in touch with a few of his friends and stuff. And it's funny because originally he wasn't going to go. Like, we were talking about it in a class before the show. And he was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to go because he wasn't working, you know, scheduled to work anything. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to show up or wada. But the promotion that we worked with, Joe Kazana Promotions, JCP, in Tennessee, was like the one that our class was working with. Like, we had our graduation match there. We helped work a lot of their shows. So they were picked to be the ring crew there. Like, you know, NWA rented the ring. We went, we helped set it up, all of that stuff. And while we were doing that, you know, we made sure to bust our butts, and we made a pretty good impression to the point that it created, you know, they already, on top of it, like, Joe already has these had worked in the